Hey, this is JFK from MSTRKRFT, and you are listening to what the fuck am I saying? I'm sorry.
That's cool, mate. Go it.
Hey, this is JFK from MSTRKRFT, and you are listening to Release with Reelax.
The number you have reached has been disconnected. The new number is
the phone booth.
All right, here we go in the phone booth Friday night again, and we are a great pleasure to welcome back a man that has been in once before. We're welcoming him back here. It is Jesse Keeler from Death from Above 1979 and also MSTRKRFT. How are you, mate?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good to have you in here, sir. It's a pleasure to have you back. I mean, we're having a little chat and seeing what you've been up to. You burst onto the scene, you guys, the duo back around 2005. I guess on that dawn of that sort of dance punk electro sort of surge that was going on in electronic music, and you've had a bit of a wild ride, to say the least, I would say, since then. And we're welcoming you back down to Australia this year. So we'd like to find out, I guess, what you've been up to on your own right, and I guess the duo as well.
Well, man, since 2005, a lot has happened.
Yeah.
My God. I've spent a lot of time in your country, actually, going back and forth all that time.
You did come out and tour, I mean, for the Parklife Festival, I guess, off the back of the first album. Was it The Looks? First LP?
Yeah. Oh, I think we've done... I think I've done Parklife like 3 or 4 times, maybe.
Yeah, right.
It seems like a lot. And then the last time I did it with the band and DJing afterwards. So that was a little hectic for me, but it was fun. I was certainly busy. But it's funny having to compartmentalize and sort of save energy to be able to do both. I'm very excited to come back and tour a DJ festival and not have to balance out or ration out myself. I can just put it all in every day.
Let's talk about that, I guess. I mean, as you said, part obviously the famous MSTRKRFT Canadian duo, which has done some great things. You're also one half of the well-loved punk rock alternative group Death from Above 1979 that did break up and reform just in 2011, and that now infamous South by Southwest gig. I mean, how do you deal with you living the rock star world and the superstar DJ world?
Man, it would be so, I would love for you to say that same sentence while I'm like changing one of my kids' diapers. It would be so awesome. You know, it's like in your closet you probably have a lot of different clothes. I don't, but I mean, normal people who buy clothes probably do, and you know, different clothes perhaps for different occasions, different seasons, whatnot. And so for me, I feel like I've had a band for all my band ideas, and you know, with Death from Above, I get to, you know, because I'm the note instrument, because it's really easy for me to be creative in that sense there. So those ideas have a place. And with MSTRKRFT, like with the MSTRKRFT sound as it evolves, like there's ideas that I have that place and that place to go. And then I found myself over the last many years having all these other ideas that didn't have a place anywhere else. And sometimes, you know, I'd have a melody idea or a song idea, and I would try to force it into being a MSTRKRFT song, or, you know, force it into being a Death from Above song, and it wouldn't work. But then I would just try to make it on my own, and then I would find, oh, wait, it's just because it needed its own place. So I started amassing music, and now I have almost a whole record done of solo stuff, which is the reason why I'm coming down there, because that'll be done, and now I get a chance to come out with that as well.
Absolutely. Now, so is this an EP, LP? What sort of massive work are we talking?
I mean, do those like names even mean anything to anybody anymore? Do the people listening to this radio show remember how long an LP even is? Like I don't know. Right now, I'm trying to like limit myself to making an EP, because I feel like an LP is just like dumping too much on people all at once, and that's sort of not how we seem to consume music these days anyway. I'm trying to make an EP, but I kind of want to have a version that is for listening and a version that is for DJs. That's, you know, with all the intros and outros and all that stuff, just because I feel like that's two really different ways of listening to the same thing. So
I apologise, I think that's probably the record label of me coming out, putting the categories on it, the LP, EP, but either way, we're looking forward to hearing the new stuff from, we're talking in the phone booth right now to JFK or Jesse Keeler from MSTRKRFT and Death from Above 1979. Of course, he said he's coming out here to take on the Stereosonic 2012 massive tour. So give us a call or check you guys if you haven't heard already where this is heading to every major city around the country. It's said to be a great big tour. The man, and I believe you're going to have a bit of a moustache up with our own Acid Jack as well, which I'm looking forward to as well. The Battle of the Groomers. Now, I guess going back...
Is that him in the background?
No. He's not here. He's off doing business.
Oh, God.
Now, looking back at this career since 2005, I mean, your career has gone further than that, but the MSTRKRFT, I guess, career, you, as you had said, you had the looks and then the Fist of God from the group, and you also had, I guess, the massive crossover success from that was the John Legend Heartbreaker track, which could have seen you guys go down that, you know, chase that alluring EDM money grab thing that sort of seemed to be going on, but you seemingly went the opposite way with that. How was, I mean, that moment when that record really sort of blew out for you guys? What was going on for you guys then?
Well, like with... You're from Australia, and in Australia, you guys have had dance music that's been pop for a really long time. And in Europe and in England and everywhere else, like, people are accustomed to there being like pop dance music and there being like club music, rave music. You know what I mean? Like, there's the distinction is always there, and it's sort of obvious for people. In North America, for a while, it seemed like that line got really blurry and weird, and where, like, you know, things that you would imagine, you know, had their place all sort of got messed up. And in the last little while, I think this next generation of kids has really like drove a stake in the ground and like, no, you know, that pop world's over there and we're over here doing our own thing, and that makes me really happy. But I mean, after that, when MSTRKRFT was working on Fist of God, we thought, you know, because that hadn't happened yet in America, like there hadn't been that pop dance thing yet. And in our minds, we thought, well, why don't we try to make like a R&B rap pop dance record? Because it didn't really exist. It wasn't around in where we were. And so we're like, oh, let's just try to do this. And then we did it, and then we watched all this stuff happen around, and then I think we were both like kind of put off by it, and it became this like sort of silly thing that I wasn't interested in being a part of. I mean, I find it kind of confusing, really. Like, I listen to it, I'm like, I don't understand. I can't. I made Heartbreaker at 4:00 in the morning. In my living room, right. The music and the lyrics I'd written with my friend Nick, Space Cowboy, maybe even a year before that. And, you know, it was like this very honest thing. Like, I was having a really hard time at the time. I was in a horrible relationship, and it was just a fucking ugly time. And I make this very honest song, and it becomes quite popular. And obviously some other people have, you know, this sounds so cheeseball, but, you know, like, other people have felt the emotion that went into it. Yeah, of course. And, you know, it's very honest for me. You know what I mean? And if anything that I happen to do in the course of my career becomes popular, it's purely by accident because one, I'm just not calculated enough to make those sorts of decisions on purpose. And, you know, I don't really know that much about pop music because I don't pay attention to it. So it was weird to have MSTRKRFT kind of get tossed in there because we didn't feel very comfortable. So that's sort of the reason why, I mean, in the last since then we released 2 songs and we gave them away for free, and they certainly don't sound anything like Heartbreaker. So we're just like, I think we've sort of recoiled, and as soon as we come out of that, I think we can make MSTRKRFT stuff again. And in the meantime, I've made all this music that I
Excuse me, Ryan, I'm sorry for the interruption. You've got 1 minute remaining.
No, hey, this is my last one. Can we maybe just like let it end naturally? Is that okay?
Oh yes, certainly. If you're happy with it.
Okay,
that's fine by me.
I'd rather not rush through.
Yeah, great, perfect. Thanks. Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Just edit it down to just us laughing for the whole time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Here's a man that wrote a song about heartbreak and all he did was laugh. Yeah, I guess it is a rejection, as you said, to what is going on to this massive explosion, which has its own place. And I think it's great that there are people like yourself and that sound that is existing. I guess for want of use of a better word, the underground. That sort of is always going to be there against what is happening on the mainstream, which is inevitable that it's going to come back around again, right? That it's sort of this explosion is going to happen. I guess on the other extreme of that, it's interesting to find that you live in the same city, the same town as Deadmau5, who is at the opposite polar end, I guess, maybe of that. So I mean, how does that town? Do you guys ever happen to run into? I don't know how big the town is, but do you ever have to run into? I mean, how does that dance scene compare to your hometown?
I am friends with Deadmau5 as much as one can be friends with him. he is an elusive character. Although he always invites me over to his house, and I always mean to go, and then I always end up having to do something, and I actually feel bad. The last 2 times we've made plans, we recently made plans to hang out publicly on Twitter, and then I had to text him afterwards and be like, "Hey man, I'm sorry I can't come." He lives like, I don't know, maybe I guess about 10 blocks away from me.
Yeah, right.
It's like it is with there's all kinds of people that, you might even be right in the same city but not have a chance to actually hang out. And he's such a big dude anyway. Joel.
Sorry, go on.
Joel is he's really talented. He's a very, very talented producer, and he's a very talented songwriter. And everybody's creativity comes out in different ways, and I think Joel has been working away for years doing what he's been doing. And popular music isn't defined by how it sounds, because the sound of pop music is always changing. It's defined by the audience that listens to it, right? And it's not even about numbers, because there's some weird indie, bizarre stuff that's massively popular it isn't pop, you know what I mean? And I think the world came around to Joel. Joel didn't come around to everybody else. I mean, it's not to just go on about him, but a few years ago, Eric Prydz came to Toronto, and after Eric Prydz, he hadn't been on tour for so long, and he came, it was a big deal. And I remember standing behind the booth and me and Deadmau5 went to see Eric Prydz play. This is a big deal. And I remember the promoter of the club came over to me, and he was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, do you know my friend Joel?" And the promoter kind of gave me a funny look. I'm like, "He's going to be really big someday." And I actually pointed at Eric Prydz. I'm like, "He's going to be bigger than this guy."
Wow. And
it was so funny because the promoter and him are really good friends now. And I say this only because I know he's not. Neither of them are going to hear this, but he gave such a look to me like I was so crazy. And now, obviously, I'm not trying to say I'm so smart that I knew that. I think anyone who had been paying attention would have thought the same thing.
No, of course. I mean, it is interesting to see, I guess, he has, that punk sort of, underdog element about him, but as you said, has been embraced by the world, and how he's taken, and how electronic music has really been taken on. It is interesting times. I guess on the other side, you're looking forward to hearing some of your new stuff, as you said. Is there a name or any titles coming up for your original stuff?
Man, you should ask Ant from Acid Jack. He's always suggesting titles for me. And he's actually one of the few people in the world who's heard any of the demos from my record. So.
All right, we'll grill him afterwards.
You could give him a hard time about it, but he always, every time I send him another demo, he seems to have another idea about what I should call the whole record.
Right.
Truthfully, there's the last one, the last idea he gave me is actually quite good, and I don't want to say it and then be committed to it. But there's a chance I might actually use it.
Yeah, right. All right, we'll look forward to, I mean, and in this sound, I guess he's put me on to ask you about this, about your modular synth addiction. I mean, are we going to expect a lot of this sort of sound going on with your stuff?
Oh my God! Well, it's funny because I'm sitting about 8 inches away from it right now, and it's looking at me. Once I've had 2 modular synths in my time. The first one was MSTRKRFT, but this one is mine, and I've actually built a number of the modules that are in it myself, which was sort of like something I felt like I should do so that I better understand what it is that I'm doing. Just build the stuff, make it myself, and also it's really helpful if something breaks. I have a better sense of how to repair things.
Yeah, sure.
But once you get into the modular is sort of like, it's whatever you want it to be, but it's also like this uncontrollable beast at times where I've had whole songs have happened just because I've done something intending to do one thing and then ended up doing something else by accident. Then being led in, it's like to be led around by this machine is really awesome. And it's literally like it's this big curved thing. It's starting to look like Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I gotta stop. I have to stop at some point because recently I'm like, wow, okay, well this case is full, and now I got, I was measuring it actually last night because I know I've got some more stuff coming in the mail, and I'm like, where's it gonna go? I'm like, well, what am I gonna take out? I don't want to take out anything. I want it to all be in there. So
yeah, I like it how it is, but I just want more. I want more.
It is a lot of fun.
Well, we look forward to hearing the new stuff, mate. And we appreciate you stepping in, having a chat to us, catch up in the phone booth here on Release.
Anytime, I can't wait to come.
Yeah, come down to Australia. We're looking forward to have you back here for this tour. It's going to be great to have you back here and have you focused on the one thing, on the DJ Superstar outfit. Make sure you iron your DJ Superstar outfit for us when you come down and dust it off. Jesse, before we go, mate, we always like to ask, is there something you can play on the show for us?
Yes. I have a record label called Teenage Riot, and I found this group from Chicago called the Team Bayside High, and they've been DJs forever, and they started making music, and I wanted to put out stuff for them, but it didn't sound like anything was ready. And then I went to Chicago to hang out with them, and they were playing me some music, and I still didn't. I was like, what are these? I feel like these guys are really talented, but they don't want to show me or something. And then at one point in the day, after we drank a lot of beer, they're like, well, actually, we have this other stuff that we've been working on. And they played it for me, and I was just like, holy shit, this is the best. Like, I'm so excited about it. And now I'm putting out records from them. So the song I'd like to play is called Loch Ness Monster by Team Bayside High, and I hope it doesn't break any radio speakers.
Here it is, as picked by the man himself, Mr. JFK.
For more, head to djrelax.com.